Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another game of Interplanetary I Spy going on here. Got some interesting stuff for you to see today. I've got two Gigapans up here to compare. This is a new one I've just uploaded, Sol 1408, and there's one to compare it to with some very similar things in it, Sol 1405. Now this is literally only 3 days earlier and has some very similar things in it, or at least one very similar thing. But the first thing I'm going to show you is this. Now, this is something from Sol 323. And it's basically what looks like some writing on Mars. Now this is right at the back of the Gigapan, and it's about possibly about 2 miles away, 1.5 to 2.5 miles away in view range. Doesn't mean the rover is that close. I mean the view range is about that, and so it's a long way off. And what we have is some glyphs or writing or graffiti on this kind of rocky outcrop at the back, which has got a kind of flat part to it here. See this angle? And we've got some writing here. And it looks very similar to Aramaic or possibly English. Now, this is weird. And what is weird about it is that it kind of corresponds to some other writing that's been found not far from here. Only about a mile away from there is this graffiti on the side of this mountain side here. This is also bottom of Mount Sharp. And there's about a mile along the bottom. So if you follow along the bottom of Mount Sharp, you come to this. This was spotted by Neville Thompson a couple of years ago, and I did a video about it. So there'll be links to all this, and then what I'll do is I'll put clips of these covers in at the end for you to compare back to back, to look at the writing and symbols and compare them to each other. There's a few examples of this, and we've got similar shaped letters. Now, I'm not claiming to know what this means. I'm not saying this is English, but what I'm saying is that the alphabet is similar to Aramaic. Now, the English alphabet is derived largely from Aramaic. Some of the symbols, a lot of the symbols are very similar to ours. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And it may be the case, possibly, that the Martian language had the same root. In other words, it could have had the same root alphabet or root language, and English is obviously derived from Aramaic, the alphabet. It is possible that they had a similar language to Aramaic, or even the same root language of Aramaic or something similar, that was brought to Earth from Mars, or vice versa, okay, in the distant past. And our modern alphabet is basically based on that. And this may be many thousands of years old, but it may be only a couple of thousand years old. Don't know. This could be very, very ancient indeed. This is probably carved in the rock here, I would imagine. But some of the symbols we got here do look very much like ours. But I'm not saying this is English, okay? Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying it may have a similar root alphabet going back many thousands of years. And if there was some kind of cross-pollination between Mars and Earth, it's possible that these languages were swapped or, copied from each other. And that is why we're seeing some of the same symbols here. It is possible. So that was interesting. That's Sol 323. If you go to my main Gigapan page link and go to 323, the raw version, you'll see it on there, okay, right at the back. So there we are. That was interesting. And there are other examples here. There's some what look like glyphs here. These are in gold leaf, but this looks more like Arabic rather than Aramaic. Very interesting, okay? And there's also this version of an image that was found by Monty Williams years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago. And he found this rock with some writing on. There's also a Gigapan link for this. I'll put all the links in the description for you to check out. This looks like it says try 647. These look actually like our numbers as well as letters. We've got a Y there and an R and a C or a T in front, and a 6, a 4 and a 7. Interesting, carved on the rock. This may be some kind of navigational marker or grave marker or something. Now, I'm not saying that's what it says. I'm just saying that's what it looks like according to our alphabet. Doesn't mean they correspond. Okay, very interesting. So we've got multiple examples now of glyphs, writing and carved writing and possible graffiti on Mars, and some of the symbols look very similar. The letter Y keeps popping up, okay? that seems to be a bit of a theme. But in this one, we have a Y here, which kind of is more of a sort of squiggly Y, as if you were writing this as a signature, almost. We've got an S or J, a W, an H, joined up to the Y, which comes around, and we got an I and an N and something else, like another I or something, there. I'm not saying that's what they are, but that's what they look like, okay? So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's what it says. I'm just saying it looks like those letters. So is there a connection? It's looking very much like there was. Very interesting. Clips, all those will be in at the end for you to check out, so you can look at them in full size and take screenshots if you like, and then compare them back to back. We'll also put a link to the Aramaic alphabet and some other alphabets as well, because there's different types of Aramaic, and it may be that the ancient Egyptians were in contact with the Martians and may have even been related to some of them. And the funny thing is, when you look at this Gigapan here, we have a giant head. This is 1408, Sol 1408. We have a giant elongated skull, which looks very much like a similar shape to some of the ancient Egyptian kings and queens, okay, with their elongated heads. And it's also very similar to some of the ancient skulls from Peru, the Paracas skulls, which were found near Nazca, where the Nazca lines are, okay? And people often wondered what the Nazca lines were for. I really do think they were navigational markers to perhaps attract alien visitors to come back, almost like a cargo cult would do, okay? So there is a lot of similarities between some of the skulls on Mars and on Earth, which says to me that there was probably some kind of travel between the two, either from us to there or from them to us. Who knows? But it will explain a few things. There's loads of crazy stuff in here. We got the lizard man here, which I've showed before a few times. Absolutely insane. We got another one here. I call this one the soldier, because it looks like he's wearing some sort of helmet with a kind of crest-like thing on top of it there. That's very dark. A lot of these are in shadow, so you've really got to brighten them up. But you can do that yourself quite easily. All you got to do is zoom in here, take a clip, and then play with the brightness and contrast. Really give it loads of brightness, and these things will pop out right before your eyes. You can even see in this one, once you've seen it, you can see the eyes, nostrils, and mouth there, and a big chin. Absolutely insane. And what's crazy about this is that if you look at 1405, which is one I uploaded about a week ago, there's another one. And this is only literally meters away from where we were just looking at. Okay, one here. And if you look at the enhanced clip down here, we have a very reptile looking, possible fossilized skull. It could be carved, it could be an actual part of a statue, but it looks to me more like a fossilized thing, because we've got teeth detail and shriveled mouth and lip sort of detail here, which you probably wouldn't get in a statue. Very interesting, okay? So we've got multiple types of, or multiple examples of similar types of people on Mars. Some were human, some were not. Some were like these, some were like the Paracas or the ancient Egyptians, and some were very, very different. Some were very small and some were very, very large, as I've shown before. So we have multiple examples of these now, and there we have multiple examples of possible writing in glyphs. So we will get to a stage soon, hopefully, if we find more of this stuff, more writing and more glyphs on rocks and in the background, perhaps on the mountainside. It is possible that we'll eventually have enough of these symbols to work out their language. Now, I'm not a language expert, but I know some of you clever people out there may be. So please leave a comment below if you are, and let me know what you think, because I'm sure some more of this will turn up soon, the way things are going, and we may even get much closer up images of some of these things, and perhaps be able to decipher what their language was, how it worked, and how similar it is to some of our ancient languages like Aramaic. Okay? Very interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get some very Egyptian looking or Olmec or Mayan looking glyphs as well. Pictorial kind of glyphs like we have in ancient Egypt and in ancient South America and Central America. So it is possible we'll find some of that as well, hopefully. That could be very, very interesting. And when we have multiple examples of the same kind of people, it does make you think that these must actually be real. And we've even got this little thing here. This looks like a little figure. Now, I don't know whether this is fossilized or a little figurine. It could be a burial figurine. And it's just sat on this little slope. I think it's somewhere on this slope here. I can't remember exactly where it is. I will pinpoint it for you so you can find it. It's up here somewhere along this ridge. And was really cool. This is tiny. This is only about an inch or two in size. But this could be a fossilized creature or person. But more likely to be some kind of little burial figurine. I have found many examples of them, as have other people. We've also got some coral here. Now this was underwater, a lot of this, a very long time ago. This was a salt lake, so this could well be coral here. And there's a clip of that, an enhanced clip. This would have had plants growing on it and out of it. And these holes are actually made, possibly by plants. It could even be, this could even be actually a termite mound that's collapsed and fallen over with holes. Termite mounds had a very kind of advanced air conditioning system. They had holes in them at various places, and when you split them open, they got these kind of spiral shafts going down, which were designed to let the humidity out the top of the termite mound and keep it cool inside. Okay, so this is either a termite mound or possibly some coral. And if you click on the link to the video, it does actually show some examples of coral and stuff as well, which is very similar to this on Earth. So we got multiple examples here. So we got this one here at the top, a soldier-looking dude with what looks like a helmet, but some very strange, scaly kind of textures on the face and stuff here. This is very dark and in shadow, and like this one here, you've really got to brighten it up to see it. This one here. But this one was pretty clear without brightening up too much. This one here, you can see the nose and the mouth there quite clearly, even in the raw clip. So there's loads of interesting things to see here, and I do think there is a connection between Mars and Earth. And I will give a shout out, just before we go, I will give a shout out to Adam the Martian. Now, I've been following this guy on Twitter for a while, and he's one of my followers on my channel. And he's been doing this series of cartoon books called Adam the Martian. The Adventures of Adam the Martian, the Architect of Mars. Basically, it's a whole series of cartoons about this guy, Adam, who is building the huge statues and monuments and buildings and structures on the surface of Mars. It's set on Mars, right? It's really cool. And I've been following this guy for a while. And he's got these really cool little video clips and books and stuff that he's done. He's also a bit of a Mars-ophile like myself, and I know a lot of you are, and often puts up clips of stuff on Twitter. So come along to Twitter and follow him and share his clips that he puts up. He puts them up every day. I've been sharing them, and he's also been sharing some of my stuff on there, so that's really cool. So he's got some really interesting stuff and some really cool cartoons, like, you know. Absolutely crazy. So come along and check him out, give him the thumbs up and follow him if you can, and help him out, because it's very difficult when you're a writer or cartoonist or whatever. It's very difficult to get traction in a very saturated market, but what he's doing is very specific and interesting, I think. So thumbs up to Adam, and come along if you're on Twitter and follow him if you can, and if you see him put any posts up, give him a share. So that was cool. So that was about it, really. We got loads and loads of stuff to see here. There's loads more stuff in these that I haven't shown you today, which you can check out yourself. And these are all linked up to various videos. And if you want the original images, you click on this link here where it says Caltech. And you've got video links and all sorts of other things. And there are links to other Gigapans with very similar things in as well. Okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'll see you soon.